Well, this is it. It's the end of the week of the Lincoln Legacy Show. You saw throughout the week so much activities, so much news, so many things happening on the ground, on the news, and we brought you as much as we could. So this is the wrap up, the Friday night wrap up of what we managed to cover this week. This week we managed to cover the DA Federal Congress. We were there in day 1 and day 2. You may have seen day 1, that's already out. And then we managed, especially so, to cover the Nelson Mandela Foundation Threads of Solidarity exhibition happening with the European Union, with the EU ambassador to South Africa, along with Dr. Naledi Pandor, one of my favorites. And we also managed to bump into, the Fees Must Fall activist at the mall, Fasia Hassan. And that's all that will be coming throughout this weekend. But this Friday evening, let's just wrap up what took place at the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. I was so inspired, particularly by Dr. Naledi Pandor, who recently just got appointed as the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University Chancellor. And her main thing that she wants to be known for is bringing good trouble. I like that. Good trouble. And during that evening with the EU ambassador, she brought just that. Good trouble. In rooms with so much power, so much influence, so many eyes. And I there as well at the same time. One of 2 just cameras recording it. High stakes, high opportunity, high results. You don't want to miss this. Catch it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. It's the Lincoln Legacy Show. Let's go.
(2025) at Freedom Park in Pretoria, and tonight begins a new chapter. Over the next 6 months, this exhibition will be here on display at the Nelson Mandela Foundation, and we're very proud of that. Dance of Solidarity tells the stories of solidarity with the struggle from each of the 27 European Union member states. The threads were woven across decades, across borders, and across languages, and together form a fabric of international solidarity. An exhibition of this ambition doesn't come together without extraordinary efforts. And I wish to express my deepest gratitude to the European Union member states, many of which present here, whose contributions made this exhibition possible. This is not the story of the European Union alone, it's the story of 27 nations. You at least twice told me, and the audience was bigger than this, to do something about this, to show what the European Union has done. Because you know what the European Union had done to support the struggle against apartheid. And I want to thank you, Minister. You were right. It was needed, and we heard you. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We live in a world where solidarity is being tested, and where democratic values are contested. The European Union's partnership with South Africa is built on shared values. We encourage as partners, we engage as partners, we share a strong commitment to democracy, to human rights, and to an open and rules-based international order. So this evening, I invite you to walk through the exhibition and remember what ordinary people can do when they refuse to be indifferent.
The immense support that distinguished the international anti-apartheid solidarity movement can only be described as an illustration of shared humanity. As diverse men and women all over the world joined with our liberation organizations and our masses in active combat against apartheid, their activism indicated that harm to humanity anywhere should be a concern to humanity everywhere. While we are thrilled to have the European Union mission's support for this exhibition, it is critical to record that it was not European governments that responded positively to the calls for solidarity. It was ordinary men, women, and youth in their civil society formations as workers, youth organizations, religious bodies, and cultural organizations. When I joined the board, they told me it's going to be very easy. But I find that it's a lot of hard work. There are many meetings and programs that are hosted by the foundation. And the chair is expected to play a role in a lot of them. So it's a good lesson in asking for a job description before you agree to take up the job.
Yes, and you are then responsible for ensuring that the memory of, Nelson Mandela is kept alive. What's a memory that you'd like to ensure from your perspective, your side, that it stays with us as young people for a long time?
Well, I think one of the things that really stands out for me is the fact that after one term as president and loved by everybody,
Yes.
not just us, but the world,
Yes.
Nelson Mandela decided, as a good Democrat, to stand down and allow the next generation to take up leadership. Not many African leaders act in that way. And I think
Wow.
it was an incredible lesson in the practice of democracy, which I hope our country will retain, not just as a memory, but as an example of how we should conduct ourselves.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, that's it for tonight. You heard it for yourself. Dr. Naledi Pandor says it directly that it was not necessarily European governments that fought against the fight against apartheid, but rather it was the individuals, the men and women and the youth of Europe outside of their own government structures that helped to defeat apartheid. And, the European Union today has an opportunity to try and rectify that in how they choose to move forward. And I will give them credit today that they have organized threads of solidarity and have opened the doors to figure out how to move forward together as continents, economically, socially, on how to ensure that the issues of the past don't repeat themselves. And that's just the one thing that I think governments and organizations must learn from now already, that the future will not be kind to those that don't do the right things today. It's not about a favorable position today that is unfair to others that will put you on the wrong side of history today. And it took appreciation by Dr. Naledi Pandor to appreciate what the EU is doing, but yet being truthful in the fact that it was actually the people of Europe that did what they did to fight apartheid. And more than anything, at the end, when I had an opportunity to speak to her, it was a light-hearted moment. What a privilege it is to speak to such a legend, asking her about what memory does she want to preserve about Nelson Mandela as the chairperson of the board. And she just simply said that although it doesn't happen in Africa quite often, and not only states leaders, but we look at it even in the church, for instance, just that Africa, like nobody wants to step down, whether you're in government, whether you're in church, whether you're in a company, whether you're in a family business, no matter where you are, most Africans want to rule for a long time. And I think if we can make way for the next generation, then Africa as a whole will rise faster than I think it can. This is it for today's Lincoln Legacy wrap-up. Tomorrow, let's touch on day 2 of the DA Federal Congress and also touch base on my trip to the Mall of Africa, where I bumped into the Fees Must Fall activist Fasia Hassan and just talk to you about the dynamics of how mall politics works. This is the Lincoln Legacy Show, where we talk about power, money, systems, and life, and decode ways on how to make your life more aware so that you have more power to make better choices. My name is Lincoln Legacy. See you on the flip side. Good night.